This is Ulrich from the Making Movies is Hard podcast saying, I can't believe the Is It Still Good podcast is doing a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode without me. Traitors, all. I can't believe this. Have I seen Turtles Forever or whatever this is called? No. Should I be on the episode? Absolutely. Outrage. Umbrage. How dare you? And, yeah. Enjoy the episode.
Maybe you can hum the theme song, won't hold it against you if you get parts wrong. While the memory's not too strong, there's a piece of you from a time long gone. So while these fuzzy warm feelings remain, question we ask is still the same. Is it a treasure or just plain lame? Is this still good?
Hello and welcome back to Is This Still Good, a podcast about taking off our nostalgia goggles and reevaluating the, let's face it, there's the stupid things that form the very core of our being. Maybe, Gavin, do you ever feel, that's Gavin, I'm Sage.
Hey.
Do you ever feel like maybe this is just a podcast about cartoons?
I would say no, but I know whenever we bring cartoons onto this podcast, you do feel a little overwhelmed, a little, are you afraid to look back at your childhood? Is that what this is about?
My childhood didn't involve a lot of cartoons, at least. Not to the extent of a lot of people. I don't know if we've ever mentioned it on this podcast, but I grew up on a boat.
Boats famously not filled with cartoons.
Boats famously not filled with television. We had movies. And, you know, I would borrow VHS copies of cartoon shows from friends, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, but we already talked about that.
We did. One of the earlier episodes of the show, we did cover not one, not three, but somewhere between 6 and 9 Turtles movies. I don't know.
Whoa.
I went a little ham on that one. It's probably messy, but go check that out if you like Turtles. And why are we talking about Turtles? Because we're doing more goddamn Turtles. It's just Turtles all the way down. How did my life come to this? I had a degree in screenwriting. Now I host a podcast about Turtles.
Yeah, we're back with Turtlecast.
And we're back with Paula. Hi, Paula.
Hello. Hi, everyone. It's great to be back to talk more about Turtles.
And where are you right now? Are you in Belgium? What's your favorite city in Belgium?
Why you ask?
Because I'm on 4 hours of sleep because I agreed to an overnight commercial.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to avoid talking about turtles.
Oh, man, you picked the wrong podcast to show up for.
Well, I didn't pick this podcast. Paula picked this podcast. What are we watching, Paula?
Yes, all right. So today we're going to be discussing, hopefully in depth, Turtles Forever, which was a movie made to celebrate the end of the Ninja Turtles show, which started in 2003. So this movie came out in 2009.
But I thought the Turtles show started in 1987.
Oh my gosh, what a great question, Gavin. Yes, that's right.
Was it a question?
What a great we're off to a great start here. Yeah, so I became familiar with the Turtles, as I think most people my age, our generation did, through the 1987 version. But that ran for a decade. And then in 2003, they launched a new series of Turtles, which ran until like 2008, 2009. So there are, in fact, multiple variations of the Ninja Turtles. And that's going to be really important for this movie.
But I thought the Turtles started as a comic book in 1984.
This is so natural. You're right. It was a comic book. It started as a joke in 1984, but they quickly sold the rights, which made it the popular 1987 TV show.
I think that's what I watched growing up to a certain extent, like the VHS. It was in the early 90s.
Yeah.
But also, every time I try to look into this, it's like there's a TMNT show every like 3 or 4 years, and I'm just never aware of it.
But I thought... No, I'm just kidding.
I want to make it clear, I did not know all the intricacies and the dates and the start-stop times of all of these different variations of Ninja Turtles prior to this show, right? Like, I did...
And then you did a deep dive, and you found it is Turtles all the way down.
Yeah.
That's where that phrase comes from.
Yeah. That's a little known fact. Yeah, I definitely looked into this in preparation for this show because I believe that your viewers, listeners, want accuracy and
Deserve.
facts.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a no spin zone, and I am here
Wow.
to, yeah, exactly.
Unless they're shells and they're spinning towards the Foot Clan.
I mean, yes, obviously, ninja stars and pizzas also allowed to spin.
Okay, good. Glad we're getting this all
Now,
out
is
here.
this a movie that was really important to you, or like a thing that you watched on a plane one time?
All right, so wow, what an insightful question, you guys. Yeah. So here's the story with this. I don't even remember when, but it must have been over 10 years ago. I was flipping through channels on a plane, and I
Mhm.
happened to come across this show which had Ninja Turtles that I was familiar with, but also
Mhm.
a crazy new version of Ninja Turtles. And so I watched it. It was essentially the last 10 minutes of this movie. And I saw these two versions of Turtles go back to the original Turtle Prime, the original comic
Whoa.
book style. And I was like, this is ridiculous. So fast forward, like whatever. I don't think about it for years afterwards. It's not really that big a milestone in my entire life.
It's a core memory. Go on.
Anyway, yeah. So approximately, let's say 10 years later, Into the Spider-Verse comes out, and people are like losing their minds because they're like, wow, this is groundbreaking. Like, who would have thought combining different versions of the same cartoon in one movie? Like, this has never been seen before. And so that came out in 2018, whereas Turtles Forever came out in 2009. I am here on this show today to address Turtles Forever erasure. I want the record
Whoa.
to be clear that they did it first. I want all your listeners to understand.
So, in other words, when someone comes up to you and says, "Have you seen this new Spider-Verse film? It's very innovative and groundbreaking." It turns out that you already had it on vinyl.
Yeah, I did. I kind of knew about it before it was cool. But like, I'm guessing that like a lot of your listeners haven't heard about it.
Really
so.
quick, what part of Los Angeles do you live in?
Not Silver Lake or Echo Park, surprisingly. Did you want me to answer it? Did you actually want to find out where I am in Santa Monica?
I thought you were going to give us a plaque update. But you.
Oh my gosh, I have
Oh my
it.
God.
I've got the plaque. It is an update. Yes.
Is it already mounted?
Now I just have to. It is not. I'm putting it on the wall this week, and then I am sending a message through various channels to Arnold. So hopefully there will be a party soon. I'm sure he's got nothing else going on than to stop by his old stomping grounds.
Not a ton of context in there. Gavin, do you have a clue what we're talking about?
I am very disoriented. No.
Okay. So basically, Paul lives in Schwarzenegger's old house in Santa Monica apartment.
Oh.
Yeah, when he first moved to the country with his friend, I am literally in the apartment where he landed. And
That's pretty sick.
And he's stopped by at least twice to like show other people the spot. So I have created like one of those historical plaques that you see around town. So I have created one of those. Fun fact, any idiot can, by the way, like print out a plaque that looks serious, like it's got a City of Santa Monica seal on it, which is official looking. They don't check.
Yeah, like that's the one part that makes this illegal, but yeah, carry on.
Like that's like literally anybody could do that. Anyone could go print, or if you really wanted to spend money, you could get a like cast iron plaque and just put it up, and like no one's gonna know.
I just go around with a pocket knife and whittle into buildings
Nice.
the facts that I think they should have. Yeah.
That's a level of commitment that I don't have.
He rides his donkey by.
No, he doesn't. I haven't seen his little pony. No, he bikes. He's got a bike, and it's like a beach buggy kind of e-bike. And one of the times he stopped by here, he was actually wearing a shirt that had Arnold Classic on it, which I really appreciated. Yeah. So no, this is like we've had a conversation. It was, yeah, he was like, which apartment do you live in? And I was like, that one. He's like, that's the one I lived in. And I was like, sure, Arnold. Like, I'm sure he's just telling me that. But no, apparently this is really the apartment. I live in a studio, and I just can't imagine like two bodybuilders
Shoulder to shoulder, they're like probably
in this studio. I'm just like, wow,
I mean, my
time. So
my theory is
yeah.
that it used to be your neighbor's apartment and your apartment, and at some point they just put walls in because capitalism.
That's what I assume, but I'm not 100. This is why I want Arnold to show up to the ribbon cutting ceremony, because I want him to share all the stories. Maybe not all of the stories, but some of the stories
yeah.
about his time in this apartment. I'm sure most everything has changed, but I'm willing to bet that the asbestos-filled popcorn ceiling is still original to the building.
Times change, but asbestos is forever.
They used actual popcorn back then, though.
Well, but if Arnold Schwarzenegger is listening to this podcast, hey, it's Paula. We met. You know where I live, in a non-creepy way.
I guess he does, yeah.
Would love to host you at a ribbon cutting ceremony honoring you and your friend Franco Columbu.
And I would love to have you on to talk about Hercules in New York. So, turtles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I have a little song that I prepared for times just like this, where Gavin or myself or a guest brings something that just seems a little off and insane. And I don't know if you've heard this, so I'd like to play it for you. Why do we care? Why should I give a shit about what you share? Are you aware that we're only here for like 40 more years? Explain to me how this is worth my time.
I have an answer for you.
Now that I've heard it played live, I think it needs to be a little bit more tempo and higher energy.
Here's my take. I think 40 years is actually optimistic. And that ultimately nothing matters. So why not talk about a children's movie that was really just made for TV, made for video at the end? Like, why not? Also, at the beginning of this conversation stage, you mentioned like, hey, we take off our nostalgia glasses. Don't. Why? No.
So we can
put
see
them firmly. No. It's terrible.
We're
don't
digging these
look
up
outside.
at night if we're wearing glasses. They're not prescription glasses. By definition, they're very foggy and hazy. They're more akin to drunk goggles.
It's better that way. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know what, for 73 minutes or 81 minutes, depending on which version you saw.
Oh, Christ.
Oh.
Like, just enjoy, okay? It's silly. You really do not need to pay full attention in order to understand the plot. I laughed. I laughed at multiple points through this movie. Was this brilliant humor? No. Did I laugh? Yes. Did I care it was dumb? No. So just leave your nostalgia glasses on and enjoy.
I got a question for you. Did you hate the 1987 Turtles as much as the writers of this movie did?
Absolutely not. In fact, I laughed the most at the 1987 Turtles. And I was just like, they're so much fun. Like, it's a ridiculous premise. It should be fun. It was clear that they were always, like, taking the piss on the 1987 Turtles. But you know what? Like, the 2003 Turtles are, like, they're trying too hard. They're taking themselves too
They really are.
Did you watch the 2003 Turtle series? Anybody here?
No.
I think the only thing that I know from it is this the Turtles Don't Give a Fuck Turtles? Gavin?
No. You talking about from the YouTube thing?
Yeah.
No, that's the 80s one.
Really? Okay, well, Paula, do you know what this is?
No.
Okay, well.
But as someone
you have
who
this
loves
cue
turtles.
to
I have
share?
this cue.
Wow, okay.
Don't give away the game.
I get yelled at. I get scooped on my story. I nearly get fired. All on account of those turtles.
We don't give a
No, that's one of my favorite bits of what I believe is termed YouTube poop.
I think that should be at least as famous as the Spider-Man pointing at each other meme.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's lovely. Slightly less PG than the Spider-Men pointing at each other, but
They cut it off. They just say pho. That could have been anything.
But like,
It's a soup. It's a Vietnamese soup, Gavin.
they kind of make the joke in the movie, though. Like, one of my favorite scenes was when there was like a giant banana that started attacking April.
yeah.
Like, how do you not?
This movie does end without... She does get kidnapped by a giant banana monster, and then we never see her again. Before we delve too much into the specifics, should we go over the plot of this movie as best we can, real quick, to get this out of the way?
I suppose so. I think if you were to write a TV crossover movie, it would, at least up until the end, it would come out like this. All right, so the year 1987, the dimension 1987. They're fighting Shredder and Krang, and something goes wrong with the interdimensional teleporter and malfunctions, and they all end up in 2003. What? Groundbreaking. No cartoon has ever done this before. But of course, the 2003 Turtles are very confused. And I do like how they point out how
the 87 Turtles are very chill.
very chill. Like, all right, new dimension, tied up against the wall, about to be tortured and executed. Time to talk about pizza. Oh man, shell shock.
What the shell, guys?
What the shell? To quote this movie 8 times.
You were saying?
Well, the 2003 Grimdark Turtles see reports of just turtles on the loose, and they have to go figure out what's going on. So here's the thing. The 1987 Turtles are very public turtles. I don't think there's any like hidden secret identity stuff, because how the fuck could there be with turtles? It's not. How are you fighting crime completely hidden? It's one thing when a human's wearing a mask, like Daredevil, who is in the TMNT universe, by the way.
Well, to be fair, the turtles do wear masks.
Okay. I didn't think of it that way, Gavin. Thank you for pointing it out.
Okay.
You're welcome.
I actually have a very strong opinion on this. Shocking, I know.
Shell shocking?
So yeah, the 1987 Turtles are clearly like out and about in New York City. The 2003 Turtles live in the shadows, like in the
ninjas.
sewers.
Yeah.
And I know. And they're like, and there are scenes in their universe where like essentially the turtles do walk amongst them, and everyone freaks out. This is something no New Yorker would ever do. I guarantee you, if people were walking around in turtle outfits in New York City today, no one would bat an eye, because in New York, it's all about like mind your own business. So you see 4 turtles walking around doing ninja shit. Are they bothering you? You keep on walking. You don't say shit. You just keep on going. In fact, if you did make a scene about it, other New Yorkers would be like, not cool, man.
Look at these damn transplants, like giving these turtles a hard time.
And that's probably even more true with the giant mutant rat.
Yeah. People will be like, yeah, it's rats, New York City. What do you want? So I feel very strongly about that.
Well, and then like the live action handled it by putting them in trench coats, which also like complete. You're like, sure, yeah.
Okay, so also on that, I feel like this movie really missed an opportunity to bring the cartoons into the live action world, which I'm sure had everything to do with budgets and rights. But I like Lord and Miller, if you're listening, please, you have the opportunity to do this for Into the Spider-Verse. They did this for Homecoming. Like, please bring the animated
Tobey Maguire,
Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland.
Well, they did. I mean, credit where credit's due. And Beyond the Spider-Verse, you do just have a live-action Donald Glover from Homecoming just hanging out at it.
Yes.
That is true. I do like the idea of doing a Roger Rabbit with the Turtles, but it feels like that would be the 87 Turtles in a live-action world rather than the puppeted turtle suits in like a Batman Beyond version of New York. I guess that's Gotham, which is basically New York already.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to talk budgetary concerns on this, which like for TV, I don't really have any problems with how this movie looks. they did not have the original voice actors from the 1987
No,
cartoon.
that really bothered
Do you know
me.
why?
Yeah.
Yes. That's how podcasting works, right?
Jesus Christ.
No,
Wait 1
Sage.
second. Do you know why?
Why? Oh, why?
I thought Gavin would jump in at the end because they're not SAG.
Because because this is
It's just
an
that
anti-union.
simple.
Yeah, it's a bummer. And I mean, the people who are signed on to do this, like those, scabs. No, I don't know how bad to feel about that, but it is a bummer. And I do think they're doing a pretty good job. Aside from the 87 Leonardo, like, what is that voice? Like, it's a fine voice for someone else, but that is just not. It's just not the leader of the pack.
It's not my turtle. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
Things I only realized as an adult in retrospect. I'm like, why does only Raphael have what I assume is going for a New York accent, while Michelangelo, like I understand why Michelangelo has a Serper accent because it was 1987 and that was cool and funny, but like
He just was watching Endless Summer on a loop, yeah.
I think Paula brings up a really good point, which is that the turtles should just be Italian, right?
I mean they're New Yorkers, so like if you're gonna give them an accent, you gotta give them, and like really they're in Manhattan, so like what kind of an accent do you? But like yeah,
You don't
like,
want to
they
set
should
it
all probably
in your favorite city, Naples.
that's a different movie,
Mhm.
I think.
Sorry, we'll save that
Like,
for our
New
pitch
York.
section.
Yeah.
Teenage
Also,
Neapolitan Mutant Turtles.
Also, not to change the topic back to what we're actually talking about, but I also have similarly interested. Like, I think how New York is portrayed in the Ninja Turtles is really interesting because, again, the New York that I remember from the 1987 cartoon, like, it's gritty, okay? Like, it is. There is trash. Like, it is not necessarily the best place to be. And
Yes, do
I
the
guess
right
it's not
thing,
really,
New York.
and I guess it's not really surprising for like a punk mutant rhinoceros to walk down the street, right? Again, no one cares.
Okay.
That's just
I believe you when you say a bunch of turtles walking by. I think a punk rhinoceros, leather
Bebop and
skin and all,
Rocksteady
like
might stick out a little bit.
I think the instant you can't read it as like a human in a costume, I think even in New York people might.
maybe, but not the turtles. Like the turtles would be fine.
No, we're all on board with this.
Let me do this.
I'm saying Hun, on the other hand, like, yeah, that's just a New Yorker.
Yeah. And then you see like the 2003 version of New York, and it's like clean and tech and like almost futuristic. Whereas eventually they do go back in time to the original 1984 comic, and you see like that's even arguably grittier and more despairing. And honestly, I think it's the coolest part of the movie because I love how they rendered it. But it is really just interesting to see the evolution of New York as a city and how it is portrayed as a setting over 2-3 decades.
Well,
9/11.
I'm gonna speed run the rest of the summary.
Oh, right.
We got that lost at some point.
Yeah.
Nah, they got it.
So now we've got 8 turtles. They're in the like future Manhattan version where they're fighting the Han's purple dragons. Han is some big burly white dude who seems to be running some sort of ninja scam. He's stolen some high tech stuff and he's working for.
Which is hard to do post 9/11 Giuliani's New York.
Sure. Yeah. He starts teaming up with the 80s Shredder and Krang, who've also teleported with the Technodrome to the future. They are like, well, if there's 8 turtles, that means maybe we can find a couple more Shredders. So they find a Shredder. He is frozen in an asteroid in the far-flung outers of space. They have a teleport gun, because why not? Teleport him back. They find out he's an angry little tree stump.
kind of a squid.
Yeah, I will say that the Teenage Mutant Turtles, in general, like I remember the core being very simple, where it is turtles, they enjoy pizza, they fight the shadowy ninjas that overpopulate New York City.
That's about all I remember from the Turtles. But apparently, maybe sometimes Shredder's a Dalek.
There have always been a lot of aliens in the Teenage Mutant Turtles, from the comic books even, including the 80s show. Anyway, that doesn't matter for this. There
Kinda
is an alien Shredder. He looks down on the 80s Shredder, who the 80s Shredder is like kind of a fun-loving guy, aside from he poops on Krang a bunch. Anyway, they realize, well, maybe there's more than 8 turtles. Maybe there's a central universe of some sort. So if we kill those turtles, all the turtles will die. But in doing so, it's very clear that it's actually just destroying the universe. So Shredder's daughter, who's been just kind of around for some reason and is good at swords, is like, maybe Dad, come on, we got this is too much, guy. And he's like, but turtles. And so they all get together, they punch him in the face a few times and save the multiverse. And I think that's the movie.
Yeah, more or less.
Sorry, I was laid on my chair. Still working out the kinks. We don't have to listen to all 30 seconds of this chair. Sorry.
No, I think we do. I think we have to listen to 30 seconds.
Okay. We get some still images of the rest of the turtle verses, which, there has been a lot,
And they do include the 2006-7 cartoon, the one that actually went to theaters. I like that one.
Is that in this?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that came later.
Obviously not if it's in the movie.
I might actually be confused. I forgot about those turtles. I was thinking of Turtle Myrtle Mayhem, Mutant Mayhem.
Turtle Myrtle.
Which came out later.
Myrtle Teenage Noodles Mayhem.
I was reflecting earlier today as I was, in the mirror, pretending I can say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles over and over again without stumbling on those words constantly.
Well, don't say it 3 times or they'll all appear and eat your pizza.
That would be, and which 4 or 5, depending on which version of Teenage Turtles
12.
you watch.
No, we don't talk about that version.
No, Venus is not in this house. Okay.
Sorry.
Got it.
Someday you'll have to explain what the lines are and where you draw them, Paula.
Someday. Don't worry, I've got a good existential question for everybody in just a minute. So
please hit us with
Is it turtles all the way down?
All right.
Is that going to be the answer?
It's actually related. Okay, so the
you were going to say religious in nature.
It actually kind of is. All right. The nature of the multi-universe implies that there are constants across every universe, right? In every universe, it seems, the turtles are battling some version of Shredder. In every universe, you have 4 different turtles, and they have more or less the same personalities, right? They're locked in this constant universal battle against good and evil.
They're anchor beings, yes.
And even if you go back to Turtle Prime, if one is erased, all are erased, which makes you just ask questions about, if there are multiverses, is free will possible? Are we actually just following some giant cosmic script? And if we went into another universe, it would actually just be kind of variations on the same thing. There's alternate Gavins and there's ultimate Sages, but there's 2 or 3 items or core memories, right? Spider-Verse also has this. If you change too many core events, the universe crumbles. So was wondering what you guys thought about free will versus fate, as well as maybe what would your core memories or attributes be? What would you expect to see in every universe of yourself?
Oh, this is an upsetting and personal question.
That's what this podcast is about.
I have thought somewhat about the nature of free will. My general feeling is fate's kind of boring. And that's just kind of where I fall on it. From an entertainment side of things, I just don't think it matters at a certain point, because if it is true, that's boring.
Yeah, this is kind of my answer anytime someone brings up simulation theory or something. It's I still got to pay bills. I still got to feed myself. Boo.
You still have to podcast.
Yeah, I still have to podcast.
It's a chore.
It's a legal requirement. It was part of the settlement.
I don't know. I just don't see not benefit, but I think that there is just I like the world where I get to celebrate my victories and hate myself for my failures. I just think that's like growth is a lot more interesting than, I stubbed my toe because I was destined to. I do think that there is a web of inspirations that like we all kind of sit with that affect our free will. But I think that at the end of the day, how we react to the world around us does have to be part of us. Whether we be turtle or weird little stump alien creature or mutant rat or warthog or rhinoceros that belongs in a BDSM club in New York.
And did you think that we would be asking these deeply existential questions on a podcast
It
No, I
felt
hate
like
it.
fate, to be honest.
about maybe there's another universe and our three variations are having this podcast and we come to a
I'm
different answer.
just happy in any life to be doing a podcast with y'all.
You've brought us our definitively most escapist episode yet, and you're like, but what do you guys think about free will?
What y'all think about simulation?
Do you think you're in charge of your destiny?
And ultimately, all these characters think that they're in control of their
Yeah.
destiny, but they're not. They're manipulated. They're drawn. Their characters invented by someone, and they think they have free will, but every move they have is decided upon by a higher power. So,
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't cut back to show Eastman and Laird draw, or did they?
okay.
Well,
So-
they did voiced over of it, but like, yeah,
Yes.
that's how it ends.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which I didn't see.
What?
For whatever reason, I didn't watch all the way through the credits. I don't know why.
It's not even after the credits. It's the end of the movie that I watched.
Okay, then my version did not have that scene.
Wow.
There are two versions. So the one I rented, I actually did find a list of like all the scenes that were cut. I don't have them memorized, but I did hear that there is like a voiceover or a scene or something like that in which the creators are like, let's go get a slice of pizza.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They're drawing the original. One thing I do really like about this movie is the Prime world, where we actually start going into aesthetics, but also, okay, so you talk about how Turtles Forever walked so that Spider-Verse can run, even if that's not how you would really think about it. Because
I don't think she said that the Spider-Verse ran. I think that she said that it is a hollow copy of this made-for-TV.
Sorry, the Spider-Verse also ran.
And also, I wouldn't say ran. I would say something like web slung or whatever, crawl. Yeah,
Yeah, the turtles spun around on their shell so that Spider-Man could walk on the ceiling and bagel people. Bagel.
Yeah, that is how the saying goes.
Right. Well, one of the first. So I can't point too much at the idea of like a multiverse crossover in cartoons because it does kind of seem like an obvious idea. I bet if I was good at my job and did more research, I'd find some other at least attempts of this sort of thing, crossing over different TV shows or different franchises in this way.
I mean, I'll point to one really quickly. There's very famously, I grew up with a Jetsons movie that has the Flintstones in it.
Okay.
I think.
There is. Flintstones Meet the Jetsons. I remember it. I've never seen it. But those are... Okay, so that's different, right? Like, those are different
They're
characters.
not the same characters. Yes, I agree.
Yeah. Because there was also...
Scooby-Doo also famously has met Batman.
This whole
Universal
thing would work great
Monsters.
with Scooby-Doo, just like different iterations of Scooby-Doo across all this. But
oh, it's coming.
I wanted to say that the one thing of this that made me point at Spider-Man at Spider-Verse and go like, hey, was when the Prime Turtles came on and they're just narrating their own action.
Yes.
I love that so much. I'm like, oh, that is literally, Spider-Man noir, Nick Cage's.
Well, which is also based off of kind of the era of like, because the Teenage Mutant Turtles started out as a Frank Miller parody.
Yes. Theoretically, the radioactive material that turns them all into the beloved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the same one that gave Daredevil his blind man abilities.
It's ooze. I believe that is the technical
Mutagen?
term.
Well, that's not what Daredevil's called it.
it's ooze.
Okay.
But it is ooze.
I can't fucking believe you.
Because I believe one of the subtitles or whatever for...
It's the Secrets of Ooze.
Yeah, The Secret of the
That's
Ooze.
the second movie, right? The Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes. If you had to pick a Turtles, which was your Turtles? Was it... I feel like this seems to be a very pro-80s Turtle podcast.
They're more fun. Like, why does everything have to be so serious all the time?
I don't know. The most 80s of the Turtles, the 84 ones, is like ultimate grimdark. And I do really love that the 2003 Turtles are positioned as grimdark, and then they go to like you just like most joyless universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun, and I'm sure there's been since then like a very good, more direct, like made for TV movie of that version.
Are you
Probably.
sure?
It seems like such easy money, and the way that they make, like, you know, we've gotten, oh my God, what's the Dark Knight already as a live action animated cartoon, and that has like, you know, bare chested women with Nazi swastikas painted on them. So it's like if you can do that and still sell it to the DC kids, feels like a pretty direct Laird Eastman black and white made for TV movie. Seems accessible.
Yeah.
No?
Just something like going over like the original run. Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I'd watch that and I don't give a shit.
Maybe
like,
I'm wrong. Maybe it
it's
hasn't
interesting
happened.
enough.
The original cartoon, it's at least a parody, right? Like, yes, the characters take themselves seriously, but as a result, it's still funny, and it's got a really cool aesthetic.
That is a very buried joke, I will say.
Yeah.
They're playing it so straight, which is fun.
So, like, that's a fun world to explore. And then you have the 1987 Turtles, which are just, like, so goofy. And, like, I love that a running gag throughout the movie was, like, Raphael would do fourth wall breaks, and then everybody else would be like, what are you doing?
Who are you talking to?
Hun just doesn't get it.
It's dumb, but it's really fun. And then the 2003 Turtles, like, take themselves seriously, but as a result, they're just like, you guys are crazy, and they're kind of killjoys. Like,
they are. They'll make their own one-liners that are so bad. I have more of a problem with the 2003 Turtles than the 87 Turtles, because the 87 Turtles say something stupid, and then the 2003 Turtles will say something stupid as, like, an insult to the 87. Like, at one point, they literally go, turtle power. It's like, more like annoying power. And my God, that is the worst line I've ever heard that a human wrote down. I've seen worse improv.
I do like that we get to see Raphael in the 2003 just so angry about everything, which is the Raph character. You know, Raph's he's got a tude.
Sure.
He's a grumpy dude.
I'm sure all these turtles have individual identities and personalities.
Yeah. And then he goes back to when we do meet Turtle Prime, he gets that same thing where he goes like, these guys are more my speed. Yeah. I'm so happy to be around angsty, angry people. Finally, we can all be grumpy together.
I think the real important question, again, and really want to get existential here, is what turtle do you identify with? Because, like, it's just like Sex in the City, right? Like, you identify with one of them. Are you a Miranda? But this was the original, like, New York foursome. Yeah. And so I'm yes. No. Well, I mean,
after Sex and the City, it's just not the question, not the answer I wanted to. That's the question I wanted to get.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm really curious. You will be judged by your response. So,
and, you know, I'm ashamed, but I remember my answer from childhood was that blue is my favorite color. Yeah, and so I want to be Leonardo with the swords.
Look,
very basic answer.
That's a boring. It's a boring
and
answer.
he is a boring turtle. His personality is he is the leader. He's not the smart one. He's not the funny one. He's not the angry, serious one. He's the leader.
Yep.
Which is
those are the four archetypes as given to us by Plato.
He's the Cyclops.
Yeah.
He's the Cyclops.
Oh, that's even worse.
Sorry.
I like to think of each turtle as like one of the humors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
Yeah, Sage, what turtle are you?
Oh, easy answer. I'm Squirtle.
That's not an
no. My childhood turtle that I gave a shit about that I thought was cute and reflected me in a lot of ways was Squirtle. It's not War Turtle. It's certainly not Blastoise. It's Squirtle. I won't be taking any questions.
Okay.
I never upgraded. I never let my Squirtle evolve for that very reason. Whenever I played Pokemon, I just had a level 100 Squirtle.
So in
Let's Sage,
retrospect,
answer the question.
I don't like how you said Squirtle after Sex in the City.
That's fair.
Yeah, your Squirtle never evolved. I mean, you said it.
We have not done Pokemon on this podcast. Jesus Christ.
Paula, who is your soul turtle?
Okay, so the answer is Donatello, right? Like
He does machines.
Yeah, he does machines. And he's kind of smart. And it's purple. So like
Purple's a sick color. Yeah.
Gotta be honest, if you're a girl and you're watching these early 90s, late 80s cartoons,
you shut down Venus real quick.
So I never even watched it. It's apparently
no one did. That's fine.
Yeah. And like I want to say I probably liked April, which can we just say that jumpsuit still amazing. She could walk down the streets of New York today and people would be like,
mind your own
fashion
business.
Icon. No. They would be like, that's amazing. Like all of the like street fashion influencers would be taking pictures of her.
Shut down construction sites.
Yeah. So
the updated version of her is just wearing, I believe, Bruce Lee's outfit from Enter the Dragon. Is that?
Oh,
does that read to everybody else?
I didn't catch that.
You mean in that it's yellow?
She's wearing like a yellow kung fu jumper. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking at the list of famous turtles.
Okay.
Pulling a real Adam. All right, over the hedge.
That was such a fun little moment that she got. The Casey's in this movie are pretty boring. We don't get the 80s Casey.
I will say he was hot. I'm going to allow that. I was like,
Okay.
yeah, he's hot. Doesn't have really a personality. That's okay.
It just shows
they're only on screen.
Just to make out for our amusement. Yeah,
it's a disadvantage that I don't try to hold against the movie because I don't think the target audience is like people watching a Turtles movie for a podcast without the context of at least the 2003 show.
Sure.
Like this is the movie that ended the show, which I guess is just how a lot of animated shows ended.
I do think that this is a movie that does assume that this version of Shredder, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
I don't feel like I needed more context, but they really just toss him in. Like, here he is, little alien Shredder, the one true Shredder.
Yeah. And then there's a moment where it's like, oh, wait, did he merge with the 87 Shredder and that's why he has this outfit now? But it's like, oh, no,
Nope.
they just...
That's just what he does.
Yeah. Okay.
I was more thrown by the fact that he has a daughter.
Yeah, he's got a daughter.
He's got hopefully
as a
adopted
human.
daughter.
Yeah. I looked online. Adopted, yeah.
Okay.
They don't go into the reproductive, or as far as I know, I didn't watch the show, so maybe they do go into the reproductive habits or whatever of
really
whatever that race
I could
is.
hope.
Good God.
I want a show that's just about that, but we're not at our pitch section. Yeah, how do turtles fuck?
Yeah.
What
do you call it? It's not Sex in the City. It's Sex in the Technodrome. Yeah. I regret that. Yeah.
Should we litigate this thing? I don't have that much more to say about Turtle Forever.
Sure. What are we litigating? Yes.
Just the staying power and importance of Turtles Forever. They're really fucking coming out there. No. Sorry, I know that's not right to say after Sex in the City.
Sex in the Technodrome, you mean?
Sex in the Technodrome. We didn't talk about the Technodrome at all. That thing's weird. That is actually my favorite gag in the whole movie. It's like, we have a device that can find the Technodrome with the Prime Turtles pointing to go, is that it? It's been destroying the city since yesterday. It's the only thing with color in this world.
Okay, so like, that is, I think, exactly the point. Like, is this a good movie? No. Is it a bad movie? Also no. Like, there's no
Well, I mean, we have a
power.
strict 3-tier system of, is the movie still good? Is it better as a memory? Or shit, fuck, Gavin.
This movie...
Or do we go throughout the multiverse and find every version of this movie that's ever been made and erase it from existence?
Yeah, do we purge the prime anchor beings and get rid of all color and all drawn lines until there is only I, the one true Shredder, left. This is how we litigate every episode.
Yeah, it's really, do we kill ourselves to take down this
Yeah.
movie?
Okay, again,
Which would be
I
a
will
very
argue-
strong.
That's what I did to Moulin Rouge.
I will argue, again, this movie was never good. This movie is very clearly a very cheap end to a TV show. And you know what? I don't care. I liked it. I still, nope, it's more years on, 2009, what is this, 15 years later? I watched it, and I laughed. I laughed a bunch. So, yeah, will I watch this again in the future? No. If I'm on a plane 10 years from now, and I'm flipping through channels and it's on, would I put it on? Absolutely.
How is this on a plane? I don't understand that. This is a TV movie that I couldn't find a copy of.
Okay, so what happened, I assume, is JetBlue has live TV. And so
I like that you're litigating this future where it is on a plane. You're like, just so you know, this is possible. This is within the realm of possibilities, within our multiverse, there may be a universe where Turtles Forever is on JetBlue.
Yes. Yes.
And in this universe, crazy enough, I'm also flying JetBlue.
I'm flying the plane.
And there is a long enough flight that I have the time to watch at least most of this movie before we land.
If I'm flying JetBlue, it's because I'm going across the country. It's an LA to New York kind of flight. And therefore, yeah,
you could watch this movie 2 or 3 times with
I would not do that. One is good, and honestly, you only need to watch the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, in that particular universe, yes, I would watch it again.
So are you calling it still good, better as memory?
Yeah, I'm going to call it still good.
Damn straight. Okay. Sage, you seem upset.
I'm confused, and sometimes that makes me...
He's squinting.
upset.
He seems to be in pain.
Look, long answer, short answer, whatever. I just don't care that much to be angry at this movie or to accept and love and appreciate and nurture this movie.
Yeah, okay.
What are you saying?
Sure, I guess it's no. I was about to say it's still good. I just this movie's inoffensive. It does a lot of smart things, but there is a better version of this movie, which is just this movie with slightly less of the dumb shit. What if this?
I thought you were going to say with Spider-Man.
Is it in
Yes.
Is it in another multiverse? There's a really great version, and we have to go through the different universes in order to find the universe in which this is the best one.
I think it walked so that Spider-Man could run. That's what I think.
Okay.
I'm going to say better as a memory, too. I think that this movie was fine. It was fun. It was very much made for children, which all of these properties were, except for arguably the comic books that started it. And, there'd be some great toys coming out from this, I think. I bet, if you were an adult and were paying attention enough when this was released and you're like, oh, sick, they're going to start re-releasing the 80s toys, that was probably really fun, too. I think this movie probably is just a callback to better episodes of the 2003 TV show, probably. Better episodes of the 1987 movie, TV show, possibly. Callbacks. It's just a nice celebration of the Turtles as they exist in popular culture. I like that we have so many versions of this. We just got a pretty good movie version of this called Mutant Mayhem.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Mutant Mayhem at all.
Reintroduction of the. Yeah, we just got a reintroduction of the Turtles, and they're still fun. These are just. I love that 2 dudes did a parody of Daredevil for some reason. I don't understand the jump from Daredevil to this, but I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad it has reverberated throughout history and pop culture the way it has. So this was a nice, I'm not going to be mad at more Turtles, even if they're not my Turtles. I'm glad they're around. So better as memory.
I don't know. It sounded like it was still good to me. You guys... This is with a lot
franchise?
of asterisks.
Yeah, well,
No,
Maybe still better as memory too.
Okay. Stop.
speaking of more turtles, we have control of this is big surprise to everyone here and any investors listening. I spent all the rest of my money, all my insider trading stock gains from this week on buying the rights to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I think it's time to give it another shot, or if I'm being more charitable, sell it and buy a different franchise. And I would like to know what franchise you would kind of like to mix and match. And if you have any ideas for that, in a little section called, well, I'll just play the bumper.
We're reviving a canceled undercover police program from the 80s.
Oh, it's not a remake, it's a
You
reboot.
see, the guys in charge of this stuff lack creativity.
What the fuck is a reboot?
So all they do now is recycle shit from the past.
We're working on less of a shriekle and more of a scream make.
Expect us all not to notice.
I like it. Another!
Oh, no.
We're reviving a
looping it.
canceled undercover...
This is a consistent.
No, actually,
I have no control over what's happening. None of this is my fault.
I'm like just constant looping. Actually, I think it's a really good way to end this podcast.
All
All right, so you're asking what other...
What do you want a Spider-Verse? Let's be honest about what we're doing.
I mean, I feel like Everything Everywhere All at Once really did what I want out of a multiverse movie. That was the exploration of soul and meaning that I wanted out of a multiverse movie. This movie didn't quite deliver that.
You're comparing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Everything Everywhere. Okay, yeah, no, I totally see how we got there. No, please continue.
Well, you were talking about multiverses. Multiverses have kind of been a little played out. They were probably played out before this movie even happened in your, famously, what is it? The DCEU event, Marvel, whatever, where they have got the different things so they can do different stories. And I think that's beautiful and fun.
Well, are you talking
I don't know
about
if
The Flash or Doctor Strange or Deadpool and Wolverine or Loki or...
Again, I did look this up. The Marvel multiverse the phase started in 2021.
Well, but the comics were doing...
yeah.
All I'm saying is, I think to me, the easier callback is to like, what weird 80s TV show would I like to see rebooted and just treated like we've got Turtles happening forever, which is great. We've got the DuckTales reboot, which was fantastic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's good.
Oh.
And actually shares voice cast with the most recent Turtles. This podcast started because I made Sage watch The Street Sharks.
It was jawsome.
It's not a good show. The episodes are poorly, the budget is trash. The animation is and the animation and writing are both so cheap and bargain bin.
But they do
they're
swim in concrete because they are street sharks.
No, they're jawsome. They bite, they fight.
Wow.
Street sharks.
Wow.
Biker Mice from Mars, similarly, like all these like great toys that I didn't have as a kid, mostly aside from I'm actually staring at a street shark action figure to try and reclaim a bit of my childhood. It was in an aquarium above my fireplace.
In case you have to quickly douse your fire.
I wouldn't mind getting a special here and there where like we drag these up and try and make us... With those, what's nice is you can try and make a better prop version of it. And I would like to see some person who for some reason was very touched by either Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars, or the Mighty Ducks, when they were both a hockey team and they fought crime on the side and were improvised real ducks. Like, I would like to see any of those given a fair shot. That would probably not work out. But screw it. I would love to see any of those. I don't need the multiverse aspect of it. Just give me an earnest reboot of something that hasn't worked is what I would like.
Like to see Air Bud fight Most Valuable Primate.
Sure, mix two of those together. They've also a lot of those have probably had crossovers too. But sure, give me Street Sharks meet the Biker Mice from Mars.
Or just like a movie with 30 airboats, because like I hate to break it to you, but it's not the same dog in most of those movies.
What?
I know, shocking. No, I said my answer.
No, he's-
Scooby-Doo. I think Scooby-Doo's had a lot of variations through it, and I would really like them to investigate a haunted house where something's wrong, and then you end up with like 20 versions of the gangs all running through hallways
Yeah,
and
that would
going
be
through the
pretty
different
funny.
doors. And most importantly, one of them is like super grim, dark, and fucked up. And I think you put that, and like I've never seen it because I've heard terrible things, but like the Velma show with that style of like kind of edgy HBO humor, and then like a version of the Scooby Gang who is willing to murder the other ones if it helps them get out. You know, they don't care.
I like that. Gavin, I would sort of add to yours and say like this is
By all
what I
means.
think is the problem with Disney remakes. Yeah, we're going here. Because they're remaking their most beloved properties, and really what they should do is remake their kind of not as beloved properties, right? Like you could go back and fix it and actually make them new and different, and people would get actual enjoyment out of this. Whatever. Whole different thing. So as we were talking, I'm actually coming more and more around to the idea of a Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque Turtles in the real world,
Mhm.
but keep it grounded. Part of me is like, it would actually be really funny. There's a couple ways you could do this. One is you could do like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles high school years,
Uh-huh.
right? And they're trying to navigate, and
Is
it's
that them
like,
older then? Because they're I
No.
don't know what
You-
level of teenager they are.
They're-
Or is it 21
they're
Jump Street
teenage.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles where they're infiltrating a middle school?
no, because they're teenage, right? And they actually
Well,
did
that's
that.
13 to
19.
With-
Gavin.
19.
Yeah,
Are
but
you
that's
trying to figure
like,
out what counts as a
that's high
teenager?
school.
I forgot where the teens ended. Yeah, give me,
Yeah. And like they kind of do that. They aged them down a little bit in the most recent one that Seth Rogen
yeah.
did, which I actually thought was really funny.
They
I
used
thought it was really
like
well done.
actual teenage
But-
voices. I think it
Yeah.
like, the
Mhm.
movie's great. Like,
Yeah, I loved it. But I would want it to be like live action, so we could either go like teenage route and keep it like really serious, and like we learn an important lesson every week.
13 Reasons Why Raphael Killed Himself.
Yeah, exactly.
fucking
Um,
Christ.
Or it could be like them in the real world, but like, I don't know, it's a true crime podcast and like they're out there solving crimes. I don't know, but just like something
So
that's
this is Harriet the Spy, but
yeah, like I don't know. I just think it'd be fun to be like a really, if you're gonna do a serious Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like do it serious, but in a way where the audience is in on the joke.
okay. So you're pitching
Yeah.
like the black and white, all the same color, but in the real world?
No, it doesn't. They could still be
No,
or at least
in
the
color.
I think
87.
it's people in turtle costumes and the world
Yeah.
is animated around them.
Oh, so
It
an
could be
inverse,
Yeah.
an inverse Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
It could be that. It could be like animated versions of these turtles in the real world, right? Some weird mixed up version between the two. But just like
Just
I
some
don't
mixed
know.
up kids, you know?
Yeah. They're trying to solve crime and discover who they are and break out of their identities beyond like a purple mask.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Wow.
Well, you two must have more important things to do. I'm gonna let you go.
No, this is it.
Oh,
I booked the whole afternoon for
Oh.
this.
well, thank you. That's very kind and confusing. Do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Not quite yet, but I will say shortly, we're gonna be putting together, I don't know how much I can say, but we're gonna be putting together some more live events in Los Angeles. And they're going to be silly and goofy and not take themselves too seriously. Think clown meets variety show, and that's what we're gonna be going for. So
Ooh.
that
And who's
that would
we?
be- It will be myself, my friend Laura, and anybody that I can convince to go on this crazy journey. So if you guys want in, like, get in on the ground floor, because we are going to the moon.
Turtles all the way clown.
imagine this specific episode of this podcast in front of a live audience. Oof.
Well, what I
Don't
would
need a
do,
soundboard if it's just clapping and people laughing at
You don't think
the jokes.
assemble like the most complicated soundboard you've ever seen or heard?
but like
Mhm.
We're doing a
that's
live event.
that's fine because the whole premise is that everything goes wrong, right? Like every time something goes wrong, we can have like fake movie stars promoting fake movies. My friend has a like, oh, we've actually apparently there's a Thomas Jefferson impersonator in LA. He left his business card at one of the local coffee shops. So like we would love to have Thomas Jefferson on our show and we could just interview him about anything we wanted. So if you
Well,
had any pressing questions for Thomas Jefferson, like let me know.
I am now thinking, just to throw one more pitch in there, then, that we should clearly, rather than a TV show or a movie, we should do this basically as Sleep No More. We should reconstruct
Yes!
80s New York.
Yes! Yes! Take
And
my money.
Is this set in a sewer? Just so I'm clear.
well, there's multiple levels.
Oh,
We
right.
have to rent like a 5-story building, so there will be street level, there will be the sewers, there will be rooftops,
There will be a technodrome.
there will be a technodrome.
I
Rent.
know the exact building in LA to rent. Literally. It's where they run the lab and Hatch Industries. It's in like Koreatown, Mid-City. It's right by you guys. I've done lots of immersive things there. They have escape rooms there. That is the place to do it. We can do it
And
tomorrow.
yeah, and we tomorrow. And yeah, you get to I guess you LARP as a bystander as you watch a turtle's adventure where they have to stop the Shredder and his Foot Clan are causing some trouble.
This is so good, and I would love to. Oh my god, this is can we actually pitch this?
Sure.
How do I?
You guys want
if
to
you're
start an
involved in-
interactive turtle exhibit?
I do. Holy shit, that would be amazing.
Oh, man.
And,
Um, Can I? The only ad that I have is I would also love for us to do a remix of Ninja Rap. I just feel like it's time to bring it back and make it a TikTok song.
Oh, I'm surprised it isn't currently.
I have an important question for you, Paula. Have you ever seen a turtle get down?
I just snorted.
There you go.
No,
I'll
I have
lift
not.
that and I'll use that as.
That's as good
A
an out as
soundbite.
we.
Great. Yep, there we go.
Gavin, what's up with you?
Yeah.
Can
Oh,
we find you? Can we stalk you?
you know.
Should we not stalk you?
yeah. You can find me on Instagram at Gavin V Murray, and probably some other places too.
In the Technodrome.
Yeah.
Sex in the Technodrome.
Sex and the Technodrome's in development. I'm pretty sure we're going to be shut down, but if we don't,
If we haven't been
look
shut
for us
down
wherever.
yet. And also,
Well, the good news is
it's not up to us.
it
We're
moves.
always
Max.
going to get shut down or never shut down. Everything that has happened has already happened or will happen or is always happening. It is turtles all the way goddamn down.
Yeah.
Turtle power.
Look for Out Delivery at a film festival near you. Yeah.
When this comes out, I will be doing some, frankly, wild shit in the Western Sahara and Mauritania. So feel free to come along and follow me at Hold for Plane to see me just get hit in the face with a bunch of just iron dust on a very dangerous train. I'm very excited. I told you that, right? That's
Iron Dust?
Yeah.
You didn't specify it on this podcast.
Okay.
You just said you'd be flying to another continent.
Well, that's where I am probably while you're listening to this, audience. You can find us at Still Good Pod. We're still doing things, man. Always
We're still
have,
covering turtles.
always
Why
will.
don't you guys?
Free, and as always, free will is an illusion. Have you ever seen a turtle get down?